We spend so much of our lives trying not to be alone. We scroll, we text, we fill every silence with noise. Because somewhere along the way, being alone started to feel like failure. But psychologically, solitude can be one of the healthiest experiences for the human mind. Not loneliness, solitude. And there's a difference. Today, we're talking about why being alone is sometimes good for you. Most people aren't afraid of silence. They're afraid of what silence reveals. Because when you're constantly surrounded by people, distractions, and stimulation, your mind never fully faces itself. But the moment you're alone, your thoughts get louder. The insecurities, the regrets, the unanswered questions. Psychologists call this experiential avoidance. The tendency to escape uncomfortable emotions instead of processing them. And modern life makes avoidance easy. Endless entertainment, constant notifications, 24/7 connection. But here's the problem. If you never spend time alone, you never really learn who you are without everyone else influencing you. Being alone and feeling lonely are not the same thing. Loneliness is painful disconnection. Solitude is intentional separation. One drains you, the other restores you. Psychologically, healthy solitude gives your brain something rare. Space. Space to process emotions. Space to think clearly. Space to recover from social pressure. Research shows that periods of solitude can improve creativity, emotional regulation, and self-awareness. Because when external voices become quiet, your internal voice becomes easier to hear. And that voice matters more than most people realize. Your brain was never designed for constant stimulation. Every conversation, every notification, every social interaction consumes mental energy. That's why after too much social exposure, many people feel emotionally exhausted without understanding why. Solitude acts like psychological recovery. It allows the nervous system to calm down. It reduces emotional overload. And interestingly, some of your brain's most important processes activate when you're alone and unstimulated. This is when the brain reflects, organizes memories, processes emotions, builds identity. In other words, you don't just discover yourself in solitude, you rebuild yourself there. People who are comfortable being alone often develop something powerful: psychological independence. They stop needing constant validation. They become less controlled by social pressure, and they make decisions based more on internal values than external approval. That doesn't mean isolating yourself from the world. Humans still need connection, but there's a major difference between enjoying connection and depending on it to feel complete. Because if you can only feel okay when someone else is around, then your peace is always in someone else's hands. Real emotional strength comes from being able to sit with yourself, comfortably, without distraction, without performance, without needing to escape. Maybe being alone feels uncomfortable because most people never practice it long enough to understand it. At first, solitude feels empty, but eventually, it starts feeling honest. You begin noticing your real thoughts, your real emotions, your real needs. And sometimes, the relationship you spend your whole life avoiding is the one with yourself. So no, being alone isn't always something to fear. Sometimes it's where clarity begins, where healing begins, where identity begins. Because psychologically, solitude isn't punishment. Sometimes it's medicine.